at that beautiful. I could play with this all day. Macaroni and cheese. But we're making Popeye's macaroni and cheese, so. Oh yeah, see how that gets it more of that stringy consistency. You're going to need a pot of boiling water with salt. Salt helps it boil faster, and it also flavors the noodles. So heavily salted water, and I have this on high boiling. As soon as that boils, we're going to add our noodles. So you need your noodles. For the sauce, we're going to need 2 tablespoons of flour, a teaspoon of pepper, a tablespoon of garlic salt, a teaspoon of salt. You're going to need some butter, about 1/4 a cup. And you're going to need all your cheeses. So I have sharp cheddar, I have a triple cheddar blend, and then I also have Gouda. So we are going to make our cheesy macaroni. So start by boiling your noodles, and as soon as this starts boiling, we will do so. You're also going to need a colander to drain your noodles, and 2 cups of milk. Now you can use a combination of heavy cream or 1% milk, but I'm using 2 cups of 2% milk because I don't like how rich the heavy creams and the whole milk make my macaroni. So I like 2% milk. You can use whatever kind of milk you want. You can do half heavy cream, half whole milk if you like, to make it richer. And let's get started with our sauce. So we have to have a saucepan, obviously. Lid is optional. You don't really need the lid. I got these new pots and pans from Paris Hilton through Amazon. And we're going to see how much we like them. The handles are very soft. They're like very velvety. Okay, so we're going to start by making our sauce. And to begin our sauce, we're going to do our spices, our butter, and our flour. So let's get started with that. So let's get the butter in our pan. Now I'm going to turn this on to medium. And I want 1/4 a cup of butter. So actually, I'm going to do 1/3 cup of butter. But now I said 1/4 cup. Alright, here's our 1/4 cup. And I'm just going to scoop up the butter. And it's nice and soft, so I can kind of just glob it into my pan. And if you have a spatula, that will work. And we're going to melt this into the bottom of the pan with our spices. What? We need our teaspoon. And we're going to add a teaspoon of salt. And make sure you use real salt. This is not bleached. It still has all the original nutritional content in it. And my little teaspoon fits right into the open side, so I can kind of get a leveled teaspoon of salt. And we're going to do a tablespoon of garlic powder. So I haven't opened this yet. I'm just going to take the whole top off and just dig right in. Oh, that was not there. Okay, here is our tablespoon of garlic powder. You can use fresh minced garlic if you like. I'm just going to go ahead and do the quick garlic powder. Already ready to go. Minced garlic is much more fresher and more potent. Garlic powder is a little bit more subtle. If you don't like the strong fresh garlic taste, I do like the fresh garlic taste though. But we're going to go ahead and do a teaspoon of pepper. So here's my pepper and teaspoon of that. So those are the mandatory spices. I like to add a little extra. So Popeye's is going to be just more like garlic, salt, pepper. I'm going to add a little kick to mine. Optional. And I'm just going to do a teaspoon of my no salt Creole. And I'm going to do a teaspoon, or actually a half a teaspoon of this cayenne. Because I like that cayenne pepper taste in all my food. So, and it's very healthy and nutritious for you. Cayenne is nature's Tylenol. A lot of benefits there. So we have our spices and we have our butter, and see how our butter's starting to melt. So let's go ahead and mix that in. And this is going to have a lot of flavor. You can smell it already. Alright. So we're going to let that butter melt down. I'm going to get my pan just a little bit hotter here. I don't want it to burn. I just want it to be melted. And then we're going to add our third cup of flour. To our butter. And the flour, you might be like, why is there flour in macaroni? The flour actually helps thicken the sauce up, and the sauce is our cheese sauce. So anytime you want to make a thicker sauce, if you're making anything with green chili or anything that you want to be a little bit thicker, you want to add flour to it. So I made mine nice and thick. And get my other half ready. And now we're going to slowly start to add the milk once we get the flour mixed in together. So we basically, even if it doughs up like this, that's fine. You can use a little more butter and a little less flour if you like. But I just need this to be my roux, my thickening to my roux. So now we're going to add our milk. And I'm just going to mix this in a little bit at a time. This is the back of my spoon here. And it's going to just melt together. So this whole process, we just want everything to slowly melt together so we don't have any clumps. If you pour too much flour and not enough butter, it will clump on you. And then you'll get lumpy macaroni. Little flour balls. But the butter helps to keep that from happening. So now we just want to slowly mix in this with our milk. And then we're going to add our cheese. And you want to make sure you buy real cheese as possible. The more, believe it or not, a lot of the cheese in the store is mostly plastic or fake material. But I try to grab more of a name brand that would be more real cheese. A higher percentage of real cheese in there. Let's see if they say. I don't think they say. Alright, so as you can see, this is nice and creamy. And I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my milk to it. And I'm going to want this to kind of come to a boil, so I'm going to turn my stove up a little bit. Because I want the cheese to melt in nicely. The hotter this mixture, the better. And the reason why I don't start off too hot is because you don't want to add cold milk or room temperature milk to a boiling hot pan. So you want to add it to more of a medium lukewarm pan. And then heat it up together. So this is the same kind of same kind of base you'd start like a cream of broccoli soup or something like that. You'd start it like this by making the roux. So we got this really beautiful creamy sauce, and we're going to bring it to a boil. And my water's almost boiling for our noodles. It takes about 8 minutes to boil noodles, depending on your elevation of sea level. And this is beautifully mixed in. I have no lumps. I have no bumps. It's just thick and creamy. And we're going to make it thicker and creamier with the cheese. So, we're going to add a few slices of Gouda. And we're going to add some triple cheddar. And we're going to add some sharp cheddar. And let's go ahead and put our noodles into our water. It's about to be at a boil. It's starting. The magic is starting to happen. Don't forget to fall in love with cooking. And remember, you could always make something from home way healthier than the restaurant. So I'm going to do my whole box here. And this was only $1. It was 98 cents at King Soopers. So noodles are very affordable. If you wanted to go healthier, you could get a, what do they call those? Lentil noodles. That's made out of lentils, and lentils are very healthy for you. So there are whole grain noodles as well. There's like, I think they even have gluten-free noodles now. So definitely get the noodle of your choice. And also, if you have a big family, it's very affordable to make a big pot for everybody. So remember to stir this occasionally, because if you let it sit in the heat for too long, it will burn on the bottom. And I need a spoon for my noodles. You can also add a drop of olive oil to your water if you like. It keeps the noodles from sticking to each other. So if you have that problem where your noodles stick, again, as soon as you pour them into the water, it's best to stir them. And also, if you have a drop of olive oil in your water, it helps them, keeps them from sticking together. This is a wonderful brand new pot I got from Paris Hilton. And it is working just fine. I'm going to put the lid back on this so I could get this back to a boil. And I'm going to start adding the cheese to my sauce. So I want that a little bit hotter. I want that to come to a boil first. Alright, so we're slowly going to start mixing in our cheeses. So start with the sharp cheddar. Now that we got, it's boiling here in the middle. So it's warm enough now to add our cheese. So we're going to just slowly mix in a cup at a time. So we're going to do about like 2 cups of each. Roughly. It's about 1 bag each. And this bag has 8 ounces. So we're going to do, 8 ounces is about 2 cups roughly. So I'm just going to lightly spread this over the whole thing. And we're going to make sure that this blends in nicely. So we're going to stir the cheese into the roux. Cooking for me can be very therapeutic. I think it's a fun time to be able to spend with your family in the kitchen too, instead of waiting in line at a fast food restaurant. So instead of going to Popeyes, you could probably feed your whole family a big old bowl of macaroni and cheese instead of getting those little sides, right? And it'll cost you way less. Alright, so see how wonderfully that cheese is melting into the sauce, and basically it's just making the sauce thicker. So we're going to go ahead and add the rest of this, which is about the second cup. It's about 2 cups per bag. If you have a big bag, just do 2 cups of each cheese. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sprinkle it over the top, and we're going to slowly mix it in until it melts. And every time we add a new layer of cheese, it's going to just get creamier and creamier and cheesier. So this is beautiful. It's all melting in very nicely. We must have got real cheese. I had that problem one time. I got I think it was like the Walmart brand, and I tried to make macaroni, and it just didn't melt in to my mix. So let me know if you've ever had that problem making macaroni and cheese before. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you would add something different. You know, you can always add meat to this and make it a whole meal. You could add bacon or ground beef or chicken or anything. Everything pretty much goes with macaroni as far as meat goes. Sausage. Oh yeah, like sliced up kielbasa. And then it would be a protein and a carb. So it would fill everybody up. And a dairy. You get your calcium and your protein. Look at how thick and beautifully creamy that is. This is going to make a big pot. So you can cut the recipe in half if you only want half this size serving. Or double it if you need twice as much. So again, that's going to be about 2 cups. We're just going to go ahead and use up all this cheese here. Because that's what I got it for. That's what I got it for. Alright, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to keep adding the cheese and mixing it in. And you can get these beautiful pots and pans for $80 on Amazon. It had 5 different saucepans, saute pans, these 2 big pans. And it has 3 lids that go with 3 of the pieces. So I think it turned out to be an 8-piece. And it was $80, like $79 plus, or $79 in tax. So $79.97. Look at how thick and cheesy that is. Alright, so I'm going to add 2 slices of Gouda to this mixture just to make it a little bit more more flavorful. So if you can only find the sliced cheese, it should melt in just like the shredded cheese. I'm just gonna this cheese tends to be a little bit more like mozzarella, like more stringy. So I'm just gonna kind of let that goo its way in with the Gouda. Okay, let's check on our noodles. Oh yeah, look, those are almost done. Just in time as our sauce is almost done too. So if you get your water boiling right off the bat and you get your noodles in as soon as possible, they should be done by the time you get your sauce done. And of course, we are going to just make sure that last bit of Gouda gets mixed in. And you can tell it is still a little bit lumpy just because Gouda is a more stringier cheese, like string cheese, like mozzarella cheese. So we're just going to spend a little more time mixing it in. And, oh yeah, see how that gets it more of that stringy consistency. Because Gouda is definitely a nice little combo to go with the cheddar. And I picked that up off of watching AB's channel. He's an awesome chef on YouTube. Alright, look at that beautiful. I could play with this all day. Macaroni and cheese base. So this is our macaroni and cheese sauce. And it looks absolutely delicious. Make sure you continue to stir your sauce the whole time you're cooking it, or else it will burn on the bottom and you'll get lumps and bumps. But the key is to have a non-stick pan and slowly add your cheese little by little with real cheese when you get there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because I don't want to burn my sauce. Okay? That's exactly how I want it when I add my macaroni. So I'm going to just take it off the heat and let that sit right there for a second. Now I'm going to go ahead and strain my noodles. Well, let's test it first. Some people like their noodles to be a little bit more crunchy, and some people like them to be a little more soft. So I'm just going to go ahead and taste a noodle here. This is how I tell if my noodles are done. Oh, and it is hot. Perfect. That's perfect. So we're going to give these a little bit of a shock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in my strainer over the sink, obviously. I'm going to strain my noodles, and then I'm going to put a little bit of cold water on them, because what the cold water does is it shocks them to stop cooking. Okay, so I'm going to drain them and then shock them with some cold water. And trust me, the sauce is hot enough. It will heat back up in the sauce. I just want them to stop cooking so they don't get too soggy. So I'm going to give this a good shake. Alright, so we have this beautiful sauce here. Beautiful. And now I'm going to be scooping in my noodles and mixing them into my sauce. So I'm assuming that the whole box should fit in my sauce. But in case I'm wrong, we're going to do it cup by cup. And then I'm just going to fold this in. And that is looking beautiful. And sounding cheesy. Can you hear that? So if you wanted it extra creamier and less noodles, this would probably be a good consistency for you. But I think I got a little too much cheese, and I think I want a few more noodles. So, look at how beautiful that's looking. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 more cups of noodles. So it's almost the whole box. Let's see how that looks there. And now if you wanted to put this in the oven and put more cheese on top of it, you could, if you had little oven dishes, you could put them in there with cheese on top of them, like little muffin pans, right? You could fill up the little muffins with the macaroni cheese with a slice of cheese on top, and then bake them in the oven, and they'd be little macaroni cheese bites. That'd be fun to do. Or you could just put it in a bowl and serve it like this and enjoy. So let me know if you try making this with the meat in it. If you did make it with the meat, so I'd go ahead and make it exactly how I made it. Cook your meat separately, and then add your meat at this stage once your macaroni's already mixed in together. So this would be the time I'd add my meat if you made meat. But we're making Popeye's macaroni and cheese, so it doesn't have any meat in it, so we're just going to make it how they make it. And look at how beautiful that is. I bet you we could fit the whole box in there just to make it easier for the recipe, because that's how I calculated it. So we'll just go ahead and put the rest of those noodles in there. There's not that many. We're going to go. I love these new pans, by the way. This is a perfect size for making a side dish. And it fits just perfectly. And then it also has a lid to keep it warm, in case people want seconds. Right?